Good morning students, this is 11th class biology, lecture 5 of chapter 3 plant kingdom. Today you will learn about gymnosperms, their general features, male and female strobili, reproduction and life cycle. So all these things about gymnosperms you will learn today. So let's start with the general features of gymnosperm. Here gymnosperms, gymno word means naked and sperma means seed. That's why we can say gymnosperms are the plants in which seeds are naked, and these seeds are developed from the ovules. So what happen in these plants? These are the plants in which the ovules are not enclosed by ovary wall. Okay, so here ovules are not enclosed by ovary walls, means the seeds are formed from ovules later on, and this ovary wall enclose those seeds. But here these ovules are not enclosed by ovary walls, means seeds are naked and remain exposed before and after fertilization. So ovules remain exposed here because there is no ovary wall enclosing those ovules. Seeds that develop post fertilization. Okay, how the seeds are produced in the plants? After the fertilization. That's why we are calling here post fertilization event. Okay, means seeds develop after the fertilization, post fertilization, and these seeds are not covered, and that's why these seeds are called naked seeds. Here you can see this is cycas plant, one of the gymnosperm, and these are ovules. Okay, you cannot see such naked ovules in case of angiosperms, because in the angiosperms ovules are enclosed within the ovary, those are present within the flower. Okay, so such naked ovules you cannot see in angiosperms, but here you can see these green color structure, these are ovules, these are naked ovules. Size of gymnosperms. They include medium sized trees or tall trees, okay, and shrubs. So all these three categories are found in the gymnosperms. Trees can be very tall, these can be medium in size, or there can be shrubs. So these three categories are found in the gymnosperms. Now there is an example, sequoia. This is a gymnosperm that is called giant redwood, and sequoia is the tallest tree species. Okay, so you can say tallest tree species belongs to gymnosperm, that is called giant redwood. Here you can see the picture of sequoia. This is sequoia, a gymnosperm that is known as tallest tree. If we talk about the roots of gymnosperm, then generally in gymnosperms tap roots are found. Okay, I hope you know about the taproot and adventitious root system. Taproot is a type of root system in which a primary root arises and then it gives rise to the secondary and tertiary branches, right? So here generally taproot system is found. Roots in some genera, means in some genus of the gymnosperms, roots have fungal association in the form of mycorrhiza. I told you about the mycorrhiza in the lecture of the kingdom fungi. Okay, so mycorrhiza is a relation between the roots of the plant and the fungi. Okay, so here with the pinus root, pinus is a gymnosperm. Okay, and in the roots of pinus fungi makes association, and that association is called mycorrhiza. In plants like cycas is another gymnosperm. Okay, all these are examples of gymnosperm, cycas, pinus. Okay, so in plants like cycas, many specialized roots, and these specialized roots are called coralloid roots. These are associated with nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria. So you can say that nitrogen fixing bacteria are also found in the roots of some plants. Okay, and an example of cycas is there. So roots of cycas are called coralloid roots, and which bacteria is present there? Cyanobacteria, and cyanobacteria has the capacity to fix the nitrogen. Here you can see the association of pinus roots with the fungi making the mycorrhiza. Okay, so these are roots of this is pinus, these are roots of the pinus, and here you can say mycorrhizal short roots. Mycorrhizal roots means these are making association with the fungi. Now see here, these are coralloid roots of the cycas having the cyanobacteria as a nitrogen fixing bacteria. These are called coralloid roots. Now about the stems and the leaves of the gymnosperms. So stems in gymnosperms can be unbranched or branched, and examples are given here for the unbranched gymnosperms. Example is cycas. In cycas, no branches are found, and in Pinus and Cedrus, branches are found. Then leaves are simple or compound. So leaves can be simple or compound. Simple leaves when a single leaf is present and it is not divided into further leaflets, and the compound leaf means a leaf which is divided into leaflets. Okay, about the simple and compound leaf you will learn in chapter 5 of 11th class, that is morphology of plants. Okay, so here I am telling you in short, the simple leaf is not divided into leaflets and compound leaf is divided into leaflets. So leaves can be simple or compound in the gymnosperms. They are well adapted to withstand extreme temperature, humidity and wind. Okay, so these can be found in various habitats, like because these can withstand, these can tolerate extreme temperature, humidity, okay, means the moisture and the high temperature in the environment, and also the wind. So all these conditions are suitable for the gymnosperms. In cycas, the pinnate leaves persist for a few years. So in the cycas, this is another type of the leaf, pinnate leaf, that is a type of compound leaf. Okay, in compound leaf there are different types, and one of those is pinnate leaf. And so you can say cycas leaf is a compound leaf, and which type of compound leaf is found here? Pinnate leaf. Okay, about the pinnate leaves also you will study in chapter 5. Okay, so here in the cycas, this pinnate leaf persists for a few years. In conifers examples are Pinus and Cedrus. The needle-like leaves reduce the surface area. So in Pinus and Cedrus, needle-like leaves are found, and these needle-like leaves will reduce the surface area. Obviously, if the shape is needle-like, the surface area will be less. Okay, so their thick cuticle and sunken stomata also help to reduce water loss. So in the case of Pinus and Cedrus, leaves are needle-like, so there is one advantage that it can decrease the surface area. Another thing is their cuticle, the layer that is present above the leaves, that is thick, and also stomata are very small in size. So all these features means reduced surface area, thick cuticle and sunken stomata, all these help to reduce the water loss from the Pinus and Cedrus plants. Now you can see here, this is Pinus plant, and these needle-like leaves you can see in the Pinus plant. Okay, and this is Cycas plant, Cycas pinnate leaf. Okay, that is a type of compound leaf. Okay, all these leaves here you can see all these separate leaves. Actually these are not leaf. Okay, this is a complete one leaf of the cycas. Okay, this is complete one leaf, and this is a compound leaf. And which type of compound leaf? That is pinnate type of compound leaf. And all these leaves you can see here, these are actually leaflets. Okay, these have been formed from a single leaf. A single leaf has been divided into these separate leaflets. So all these are leaflets, and this is a complete one leaf of the cycas. Now gymnosperms are heterosporous. Heterosporous means produce two types of spores. Okay, hetero means different. So different types of spores are produced by the gymnosperms, and two different types of spores are produced. They produce haploid microspores and megaspores. Okay, so spores are always haploid, means having a single set of the chromosomes. So here haploid microspores and megaspores are produced. So these are two kinds of spores, right? Now some leaves are modified into sporophylls, right? The leaves modified to form the sporophylls. They are compactly and spirally arranged along a axis to form legs or strobili or cone. Okay, so what happened here? These leaves are spirally arranged, okay, compactly and spirally arranged along the axis of the plant, along the axis, and forms a cone-like structure. And that cone-like structure can also be called strobili or legs. Now sporophylls bear sporangia. Sporophylls are modified leaves which form a spirally arranged structure that is called cone or strobili. So here these sporophylls bear sporangia in which spores are produced. This sporangia is the structure in which spores are produced. Now sporophylls are two types. Okay, these sporophylls are also of two types here, microsporophylls and megasporophylls. Here you can see this is Cycas, example of Cycas gymnosperm. This is male strobili, okay, and this is female strobili, okay. And how these strobili are formed? By the arrangement of the sporophylls, right? Because I told you that sporophylls make a structure called cones or strobili. So these can be called cones or strobili. You can see cone-like structures are these, right? So these are cone-like structures. So this cone is called male cone or male strobili. And how it has been formed? Due to special arrangement of the sporophylls. And here you can see this is female strobili or female cone. Okay, now you have seen that there are two kinds of sporophylls, microsporophylls and megasporophylls. So these microsporophylls make the male cone. Okay, micro means small, so small is always related with the male. Okay, so here male strobili is made by the microsporophylls and female strobili is made by the megasporophyll. So microsporophyll. So let's see what is microsporophyll, as there are two kinds of sporophylls. So they are arranged to male strobili, that is called microsporangiate, right? They bear microsporangia. Okay, inside the microsporophyll or the male strobili there will be microsporangia. And what is this microsporangia? It produces the microspores. So the microspores develop into male gametophytes. Inside the microsporangia, microspores will be produced, and these microspores then develop to form male gametophytes, right? You can make a flowchart for all these things. First of all, there are sporophylls, and those sporophylls can be microsporophylls or megasporophylls. Then microsporophyll is, we are calling microsporophylls are making male strobili. Then male strobili bear microsporangia, and inside the microsporangia microspores are produced. Then these microspores develop to form the male gametophyte. And what is this male gametophyte? It is highly reduced and confined to only a limited number of cells. Highly reduced means the number of cells is very less. Okay, it's very small in size. That's why we are calling it's highly reduced. It's very small in size, and also the number of cell is limited here. So it is confined to only a limited number of cells. This gametophyte is called a pollen grain. So see here, what is pollen grain? Male gametophyte. Okay, so male gametophyte can also be called a pollen grain. And how it has been developed? How it has been formed, this pollen grain? It has been formed by the development of the microspores. As you can see here, microspore develop to form the male gametophyte, and this male gametophyte is a pollen grain. The pollen grains are developed within the microsporangia. So you can see here, inside the microsporangia microspores are produced, and these microspores are developing to form the pollen grain, right? So we can say that pollen grains are developed within the microsporangia. And where this microsporangia is present? This is present within the male strobili. Now see this structure. This is a male cone of the Cycas. Okay, Cycas plant male cone this is, and this complete structure you can see this is microsporophyll. Okay, these leaf like structure which have been modified to form the sporophyll, and these are microsporophyll. And what is present in this microsporophyll? These structure, these are the structure, these are microsporangia. Here you can see this is microsporangia. Okay, this inner complete structure, and on its outer side this leaf like structure is microsporophyll. Okay, now what is present in this microsporangia? You can see here these structure, these spore like structures, these are microspores which later on develop to form the pollen grains. So this is mature form of the microspores. So we can call these pollen grains, okay, because pollen grains have been formed from the microspores only, right? So we are writing here the name pollen grains. Now let's talk about the megasporophylls. Megasporophylls, they are arranged to form female strobili. Okay, mega word is always related to the female. Okay, so here megasporophyll arranged to form the female strobili, and that is called macrosporangiate or megasporangiate, it can be called. Okay, now similarly they will bear the megasporangia, okay, as it was in case of the microsporophyll, and the same things are here also. The female strobili or the macrosporangiate will bear the megasporangium. Okay, that megasporangia can also be called ovule. Okay, so this is the different thing. Here you need to learn this one more name. Okay, that megasporangia are called ovules. Okay, now the megasporangium, plural form is written here, megasporangia. Okay, so megasporangium mainly consists of a body called nucellus. Okay, so what is present inside the megasporangium? Nucellus is present. Okay, it is protected by envelopes. So the nucellus which is present inside the megasporangium is protected by envelopes. Envelopes means layers of cells. Okay, what is meaning of envelopes here? Layers of cells simply. The megaspore mother cell is differentiated to form a cell of the nucellus. Differentiated from a cell of the nucellus. So the nucellus which is present here, where it is present? Inside the megasporangium. Now what happened? This nucellus will differentiate. You know what is differentiation? When a cell attains a particular shape, size and function, means it becomes different from the other surrounding cells. Okay, then we call that it has been differentiated. So what happened here? One of the nucellus cell differentiates to form megaspore mother cell. Okay, this one of the cell of the nucellus acts like the megaspore mother cell. Megaspore mother cell, by the name it is clear that mother cell of the megaspore, means it will form the megaspore here. So here you can see a diagram of female cone or the female strobili of the cycas. Okay, this is female strobili of the cycas. Here these are megasporophyll. These structures are megasporophylls, inside which the megasporangium is present, and these ovules are produced like this. Okay, so these, what is this? What are these ovules? These are megasporangium, right? We can means this is ovule is the another name for the megasporangium. Okay, so these are megasporangium, or you can say these are ovules, and this is the structure of ovule. This is not in your syllabus. The complete structure of the ovule is not in your syllabus. This is just for the understanding that which type of the structure is present inside the female cone. Now megaspore mother cell undergoes meiosis to form 4 megaspores. Okay, the megaspore mother cell that has been differentiated from the nucellus cell now will undergo the meiosis division. And how many megaspores will be produced? 4 megaspores. Okay, because after the meiosis division 4 cells are formed from one cell. So here also one mother cell will form 4 megaspores. One of the megaspores enclosed within the megasporangium develops into a multicellular female gametophyte. Okay, what happened? Now out of these 4 megaspores, one will develop. Okay, one will start developing, and that will develop into a multicellular structure. That multicellular structure is called female gametophyte, and that female gametophyte bears 2 or more archegonia. Okay, this female gametophyte which has been developed from the megaspore, it bears 2 or more archegonia. Okay, Now the multicellular female gametophyte is also retained within the megasporangium. So megasporangium means ovule. So the female gametophyte which has been developed, it will remain within the ovule, or you can say within the megasporangium. Now the male or the female cones may be born on the same tree, like in Pinus. In case of Pinus, both the male and female cones are present on the same tree, and you have already seen the diagram of the cycas that two different cones are present, male and female, and those are present on the separate plants. So these can be present on different trees, like in case of cycas. Unlike bryophytes and pteridophytes, as you have studied about the bryophytes and pteridophytes, so unlike those, in gymnosperm, the male and the female gametophytes do not have an independent free living existence. Okay, the gametophyte structure will remain attached with the sporophyte here. Okay, it has not a free living existence. Okay, it is not independent, it is dependent on the sporophyte. But in the case of bryophytes and pteridophytes, you have seen gametophytes are means independent or free living structures are present for the gametophytes, but here case is different. Now these gametophytes in case of gymnosperms remain within the sporangia, retained on the sporophytes. Okay, now where these sporangia are present? Sporangia are present on the sporophylls. Okay, those can be microsporophylls or megasporophylls. In those the sporangia are present, and inside the sporangia this gametophyte is produced. Okay, so you can say gametophyte remain within the sporangia, and sporangia, you know, it is present on the sporophyte. Now the pollen grain released from the microsporangium. Okay, pollen grains are produced inside the microsporangium. What is present inside the microsporangium? Microspores, and those microspores develop to form the pollen grain. Okay, so we can say pollen grain released from the microsporangium are carried in air currents and meet the opening of ovule. Okay, with the air current, these pollen grains reach to the opening of the ovule. What is ovule here? Megasporangium. Okay, so the pollen grain reach to the megasporangium with air currents. Now the pollen tube carrying the male gametes grows towards the archegonium. Now what happened? A pollen tube arise from the pollen grain. Okay, a tube-like structure arises from the pollen grain, and in that tube-like structure there will be male gamete. Okay, inside the pollen grain male gametes are present. So these male gametes will now be in the pollen tube. So this pollen tube will grow towards the archegonia. What is archegonia here? Female sex organ, right? So it will grow towards the archegonia, which is present inside the ovule, right? Archegonia is present in the ovule, and this pollen tube will discharge their contents near the mouth of the archegonia, right? So this pollen tube will grow. It is carrying the male gametes. So these male gametes are discharged near the mouth of archegonia. You can say near the mouth of female sex organ, right? After fertilization, now because the gametes have reached to the female sex organ, now what will happen? Inside the archegonia, female gamete is also present, right? So the fertilization will occur, and after the fertilization, zygote is formed, and then this zygote develops. It develops to form the embryo and the ovules into seeds. Okay, the zygote, where the zygote is formed? Inside the ovule, because all these things are happening, all this fertilization is happening inside the ovule, right? So the zygote has been formed inside the ovule, you can say. So this zygote developed to form the embryo, and this ovule then convert to form the seeds. So we can say the seeds are formed from the ovule. Now let's take a recap of the life cycle of the gymnosperms. Okay, see, this is the complete life cycle of the gymnosperms. Here we will start from here. Like this is a gymnosperm, this is a plant. Okay, this is a gymnosperm plant and this is called sporophyte. Okay, because the sporophyte is the dominant phase in the gymnosperm plants. Okay, so here two types of cones are produced here on the plant. These can be produced on the same plant or on the different plants, right? So these two types of cones are produced here. Okay, this one is seed cone. Seed cone means the female cone on which the seed will be formed, right? And this one is pollen cone, means the male cone on which the pollen grains will be produced, right? So here you can see here the pollen grains are produced here from the pollen cones. Okay, so first of all, this is microsporangium present in the pollen cones, means in the male cones. This microsporangium is present, and inside this microsporangium microspores are produced. So these are microspores. Okay, this is microsporocyte. You just ignore all these stages because the complete development takes time, and that's why this microspore in between stage is shown here. Okay, you just write down the microspores which have been produced inside the microsporangium, right? Now what you need to do, you don't need to make all these diagrams. You just write down the names of all the things. Like you start from the hair, that's sporophyte structure, then these two types of cone, male cone and female cone. You just write down the names like this. Okay, I'm explaining the diagram to you, and you make a flow chart with me. Okay, so write down these things. The pollen means the male cone. Write down male cone here. Then inside the male cone, just write down the microsporangium is present, and inside that microsporangium, microspores are produced, right? And these microspores then develop to form the pollen grains, right? So the pollen grains are formed here after the development of microspores. Now see the female cone. In female cone, you will show the ovule. That ovule is present inside the female cone. Then the ovule is called megasporangium, and inside this megasporangium, what is happening? This is a megasporangium. Okay, and inside the megasporangium, female gametophyte is formed. Okay, so here you need to show just the female. You need to write the female gametophyte only. Okay, because inside the ovule, female gametophyte is formed, right? Now this is pollination. Okay, the pollen grains along with the air current reach to the mouth of archegonium. You just write down this thing. This is shown in the diagram. This is mouth of the archegonium. Okay, and these pollen grains along with the air current are reaching to the mouth of archegonium. So you don't need to make the diagram. You just write down this. Write down the same thing. Okay, the pollen grain reach to the mouth of archegonium along with the air current. Now these what will happen? The fertilization will occur. Okay, so here you can see this is archegonium structure. Okay, the pollen grains reach here. Okay, and then fertilization means the female gamete is present here, and the male gametes are present inside the pollen grain. So there will be fusion and fertilization, and after the fertilization, zygote is developed, and then that zygote developed to form the embryo. So here you can see this structure. This is embryo. Okay, and where this zygote has been formed, this has been formed inside this structure. What is this? Ovule. Okay, so you can see this zygote is formed inside the ovule. Now what will happen with that ovule? That ovule converts into seed. So you can see here. So you need to write down just the zygote here, then development of zygote to form the embryo, and then conversion of ovule into seed. So you make this flow chart without these diagrams, but write down the things which are given here. Okay, with the help of this flow chart, it will be easy to you to learn the things, to learn about the life cycle of the gymnosperms. Based on today's topics, your homework is NCERT question number 3, 5, 7, 11 and 12. So all these NCERT questions you need to do today. Now let's discuss the homework solutions of previous lecture, and I gave fifth part of question number 8 of NCERT as homework, and this is the answer. The question was, what is sporophyll? So a leaf which bears sporangia is called as sporophyll. and it can be microsporophyll or megasporophyll. Microsporophyll will bear the microsporangium and megasporophyll will bear the megasporangium. These structures combine to form strobili, right? So these microsporophylls and megasporophylls combine to form the strobili or cones, and example is pinus. After that, isogamy. What is isogamy? Iso means similar, gamy means gametes. Fusion. So here what happens? Sexual isogamy is a type of sexual reproduction, you can say, that takes place through fusion of two gametes which are similar. But these similar gametes can be flagellated or non-flagellated, but they are similar in size. Okay, so these similar gametes can be flagellated or non-flagellated, but similar in size. Such reproduction is called isogamy, and example is Aptocarpus. Now question number 9 of NCERT, third part, and here it is asked what is the difference between the homosporous and heterosporous. Okay, so homosporous are the plants, these are the plants, and heterosporous are also the plants. Okay, so the homosporous possess only one type of spores, and example is lycopods. Okay, so both these are you can take here example of pteridophytes. Okay, so homosporous are the pteridophytes which bear only one type of spores, and example is lycopods, whereas the heterosporous possess morphologically distinct spores. Okay, or you can say in a different sporangia, and example is Salvinia.